Hello my friends, welcome to another Painting with Harold. I am Harold, and tonight we're still working on that little step-by-step painting that we've been doing, if you're following along. If not, I'll quickly explain what I'm doing. I did the first video on how to make clouds in the sky, and then I came back and I did another video on how to do mountains and water. And now tonight I'm going to do trees. So tonight is basically how to make a couple different trees. And the colors I have out are titanium white, midnight black, phthalo green. And I got just a little of each color. I didn't put a lot of color out. I can always get more if I need it. Now what I done was I took the midnight black and about the same amount of the phthalo green, and I mixed them together, and I got a kind of an off-color green. Then I took about half that much white and mixed it together, and I'll show you right quick what I'm working with here. This color here, it's kind of a light grayish green, but it's also got some dark in it too. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go up to our palette, our canvas, and we're going to make us a line of trees across here. And I'm going to use a fan brush, if I get it to be still long enough for you to see it. Number 6. And I'm just going to come in and I'm going to pull that fan brush through both sides and just get some paint on it on both sides, about like so. Then I'm going to come up and I'm going to start where our mist is. I'm going to start below the mist, and this is just a tapping motion. I don't know if you can see this or not, but it's just touch the corner of the brush and just tap down, and you're going to start making little straight lines up here is all you're doing. Just stay under the mist. See how we got the mist up top? That mist is what's going to give us our distance in this. Now, one of the problems a lot of people have when they're doing these is they'll come up and they'll just start making them like this. Well, if you got that much separation between them, it just don't look like a gang of trees back here. It looks more or less like, Bob used to say fence posts, but I mean they can still look like a tree if you did a little work to them, but they're not going to look like the kind of trees we want them to look like. We want them to look like they're close together. And don't make them all the same height. You know, give some of them some height and make some of them a little shorter. And just you know, if you go above the mist in a couple spots, as long as you get back under it, it won't affect your overall outcome. Now sometimes you can achieve distance just by the color you use, and then sometimes you need help, like the mist and different perspective angles. But we want to do something to get some distance in here, because distance is what gives your paint that depth it needs. And if you don't have some kind of depth in it, it's just going to look like a flat board with some painting up here on it. So we want to try to sell the illusion of distance when we're doing certain things. And then if you get a real tall one, let me show you what you can do right there. You can come back and pick up a little bit more of the darker color, and you can come in front of it, and it'll make it look like some back behind it. See, like in that spot right there, it just looks like there's some trees in front of some other trees now. And you can add them darker ones in at random back here, just by putting a little bit more color on the brush. And that's all you got to do. And if you got one that you really, you really like, put you some paint on the corner of your brush and come up to it and just touch the top of it, just real lightly, and just make it look like a distant pine way off in the background that's just showing up a little more than the rest. He may have had a better year, or he may even actually be a little closer. And then just kind of come in and rub out the bottom a little. But your main thing you want to do is just vary your heights. And don't kill all that mist. That's really important in this. When I was in class, Nick called these tappy trees. He said that's just because all you're doing is bringing the brush up there and just tapping down with the fan brush. So he referred to these as tappy trees. I tell you what, I feel really blessed that I got to see that man paint. He is really gifted. He can paint. And he loves it. That's the thing. Some people can paint. They don't really just love it. They just, I guess they were born with a talent, didn't really have to work for it. Here I am struggling, trying to be a painter. You got some folks that just falls right out of them. And if you don't know Nick Hankins, look him up. He's a Bob Ross instructor of the instructors. He teaches people how to be an instructor. And I'm telling you, he's good. He is a wonderful artist. He does a lot of painting and stuff on the Twitch platform, which I don't have. I guess I need to look into Twitch because I really enjoy watching him paint. But I know I've seen him do a couple on YouTube, and I actually painted a couple of them that he painted from his YouTube videos. Of course, they didn't look as good as his, but I gave it a try. Nothing like trying. You never know until you try. If you don't ever try, you're always a failure. And if you will, let me know in the comments if this air conditioner is affecting the video quality. Because if it is, I'll try to find a way to either muffle it down or I'll turn it off while I'm filming or something. I don't need nothing messing us up. I've got it set on energy saver, so it's kicking on and off. And it seems like tonight or the nights that the birds and the dogs are quiet, it's hot and I have to turn the AC on. So. And the central unit, it cools the rest of the house. And the craft room / studio with one of those window units. I guess I should have mentioned the birds. They're getting fired up now. Alright, about like that. Now, if you want to come in here and add a couple more tall trees, now would be the time to do it. And all you got to do to add a couple is just pick you out a spot where you want one. Say, say right here. Just come up here and these do not need a lot of detail on them at all. You just want to be able to say, that there are trees back here. You don't want no detail in them. Because at this point, detail's a bad thing. Especially in trees this far off. You just want to be able to tell that there are trees growing out of back here somewhere. We don't want no color in them or none of that kind of stuff. We'll put another one right over here somewhere. Probably right there. Just let him stick up. And just come up and give him a couple little arms like that. And then just work it back down into the other trees. Like it's just sticking up out of there. Alright, I'm gonna call that good on that line of trees right there. Then I'm gonna take me a 2-inch brush and I'm gonna come right up here and about the height that these trees are, we want to put a shadow or a reflection down under them in the water. So come up and just tap your brush in and pull straight down, just like so. Just pull straight down. And this is not it's not a lot of pressure, because if you put a lot of pressure, you can destroy that. You can destroy that line, and it won't leave those little individual streaks in it. And believe it or not, those little individual streaks are important for when we go back and come over it. You'll see what I'm saying here in just a second. But we'll take our fan brush before we get too far into this, and we'll make those trees there look like they're reflecting into the water as well. And we're basically just hoping that the mountains are too far back to actually reflect into the water. Not like so. Is what we're looking for. Come across here, maybe clean it up some. Not like that. Alright, now before we get too far, I'm gonna pick up a little of the color on my brush, and I'm gonna come up here and I'm just gonna tap this one out, about like so, and just come across it and just give it some body, just to make it look like a tree in here. Just kind of widen it out some. And it's not really important because it don't have to be perfect. I'll show you one here in a second. On this one we'll do the same thing. Since it's a little taller. We'll come in here and give it a little body. Maybe just darken it up some. Then we'll do the same right here on this one. Just like so. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and dump that brush in the thinner. Now what I'm going to do right there on those tall trees that we just made is I'm going to pick up a 1-inch brush And I'm going to bring this up here, and this touch is, I mean, it is so light. It's just, it's like whisper light. And just barely bring that brush over it on those trees right there. Just barely. See how we just pretty much pulled them out of there. Alright, then I'm going to take the brush that we used to pull all that down with. Now I'll tell you what, before we do that, no, we'll go ahead and do it. We'll go ahead and do that right now. Alright. I'm going to lay that brush down, and I'm going to kind of kick it over at an angle because I don't want the bottom hanging past my reflection. See how it's wider? And if this part of that brush is hanging down, it's going to streak under it, and we don't want that. So just come up here and make your first one come across, just real light, and then your second one, and just slightly rub, just real easy, just like so. You'll get a reflection across here, just like that. Maybe we can knock some of that paint off. Then we can pick our knife up, pull us down some white, get us a little bit of white on top of the knife, and come up here and put us a water line across here. And you want to keep your water line as flat and as straight as possible. And the way you do that is by keeping that fan blade horizontal. Don't let it kick down to one side or the other. Keep it, when you bring it up, keep it flat on your canvas. Try to keep it level. And then just like you're trying to cut through that canvas, just work that knife back and forth. Just back and forth until the paint comes off. And just do that all the way across. And you give yourself a little water line. And if you get some that's too thick, just come right up here under it and just slightly rub over it again, and it'll go away. Just like so. Alright, then one of the things you can do after you do that is pick you up a number 3 fan brush like this, just a little small one, and come up here into your gray color that you made to make the trees with. Bring a little more white over in it and lighten you up a good spot. You want it to be a lighter color than what you just put up. You can even bring a little of the phthalo green in it. You don't want much, just very little. Because remember, we're working on stuff in the distance right now. And just cover both sides of your brush just like we did when we was making the trees. And then come up and do your little test touch. Come up here and just touch your spot. And if you can't see it, get you a little more white. And maybe just a tad bit more of the phthalo green. We just don't want a lot. We want to keep this as grayed down as possible right here. Alright, now using just the corner of the brush, we want to come at the top of this water line. Just the corner of the brush. And we just want to tap on top of that water line down through here. Just to give ourselves the indication of little grassy areas or little bushes or whatever you want them to be. We just want some kind of indication of something over here in front of these trees. Now if you bring that brush in straight and pull up with it, you know, when you go in to push up, it's going to give you a smiley face. And you don't want a smiley face. So what I'm doing, I'm taking just a corner of the brush and I'm going right above that water line and I'm just pushing up, just real lightly. Now if you do that real lightly and you don't see no paint come off, flip it over to the other side and do it until you run out of paint again. Just try to stay above your water line. And in some places, you can make that color darker or lighter and taller and shorter. Just work with, you know, different heights and make sure you have a color change. You always need a change of color. When you leave from one area to another, you want a change of color so your background don't blend in with the foreground. Well, I say foreground. What you just painted won't blend in with what you're painting next is what I mean to say. But just come across there at a straight line and just tap you in some bush-like features. And it should sell the illusion that now you've got a bank back here that's got a little brush line in front of your trees, and that'll help push your trees back some. And like I said, if you want some of them taller or whatever. Now when you get through doing that, you can come up here and tap that paint out of your fan brush, and like some spots that look like they're trying to curve up on you, like right here, just come up here and just kind of give it a little tap and it'll take on the shape of a bush. See how I did that? I hope y'all can see that. It just looks like a little bigger bush. Alright, I'm not going to cry too much about my water line right here because we got a tree coming down and we got trees coming down on this side. But then right here, I am going to take my 1-inch brush and I'm going to let it kind of at an angle, and I'm going to come across right where the big trees are, and I'm going to pull them in this way and that way and make it look like that water's kind of rippling and giving them trees a bent look, about like that. And then real lightly I'm going to come across and brush that out, just real lightly, just like that right there. And then you can pick your knife up again, and this is entirely up to you if you do this step or not, but you can come up here and give yourself a couple little ripples out in your water. And it don't take many of these to be effective. You just put your couple out there, and then come back and just real lightly pull them straight. Just set them down in the painting as well, just real lightly. Just like so. Because they're going to be pretty far off too. Not like so. That's all we're looking for. Alright, I think we are going to put out a little more color. I'm pretty sure I am. So I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll go ahead and put out a little bit more of the Midnight Black. just a little bit more of the phthalo green. Because I don't want these colors here to be as light as the other colors. So I'll take my knife and I'll go up here and I'll grab me some black, and I'll get about the same amount of the green, and I'll mix them together. And I'm just stirring them up. I'm not trying to over mix them. If it ends up being marbled, it ain't gonna matter. Right here, ain't gonna matter much at all. Because if we end up with a real dark green color, that'd be good. Because these trees are, we'll go ahead and make some evergreens. And they need to be dark green. Right, then we'll pick up my number 6 brush that's in good shape. It's a little bigger. It's got a little better points. It makes a little bit better tree than the older ones. Now the older ones do have their place, believe me. There's times I'd a lot rather have one of my older ones than I had a brand new one. Because after a while of using that brush, it's almost like you just learn what it will and won't do. Alright, can y'all see this corner? Let me zoom out just a hair so you can see. Whoa, not that much. End of the canvas in over here. Alright. About like so. Okay. Alright, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up here, and I've loaded my fan brush on both sides of the paint with the black and green mixture we just made. And I'm going to come up here and I'm going to put me in a straight line down through here. Now if you're good at making these trees, you don't have to make this straight line all the way down. Which if you're good at it, you already know that. It's just a guide, that's all it is. Alright, now I want to lay this brush to the side a little bit. And I'm going to come up here and just tap. And then just side to side. But just make sure that when you're doing this, you leave yourself some empty space in here. Because we probably will come back and add a trunk. But you want to come from the center. You want to come from the center out. Just like that. And the further you go down, the more you can start pushing out. And let it get a little wider as it goes down. And then we'll load up again. And I'm going to come up here, and I'm going to go a little bit taller with this one, about like so. I'll bring it down. And we'll make this one the same way. We'll come up with that brush turned at an angle a little bit. And we'll just come up here and just go to working it out. Now see, the faster you go with that brush, sometimes the better tree it'll make. But it's just like everything else. You know, it takes practice to get that a speed you're comfortable with. Because once you get a little better at it, you'll get a little faster, and then when you get more better at it, you'll get even faster. Like myself, I know that I'm going to get even faster one day than I am now, because I've seen folks that's been painting longer than me, and they can zip out of painting. And you can, if you sitting here trying to do step by step, it's a little tougher, because you want to do it in a speed to where everybody can understand what it is you're doing. You don't want to, what's the word I'm looking, you don't want to run off and leave somebody confused. That's why I always say, if I do something you don't understand, hey, tell me in the comments. Say, hey, how'd you do that, or why'd you do that? And I'll talk to you in the comments. I'll talk to you however we need to talk, because I'm not a celebrity by no means. I'm just a country boy that loves to paint. In fact, I enjoy talking to people about painting. I've got a couple subscribers that I talk to now on Facebook Messenger quite a bit. I won't call their names, but one of them's even talking about coming to Mississippi and carrying me out to eat. I'm like, wow, you don't have to do that. He said, well, you're a veteran, and it'd be nice to meet you. Plus, I just thought it'd be nice to, do something for your service. I appreciate it, and I'd love to meet you, but you don't have to carry me out to eat. We can go out to eat, but you don't have to make a trip down there just to buy me something to eat. And I hope it works out to where he can maybe come this way. That'd be pretty cool. I hope it's to where we can sit down and do a paint together that day when he shows up. All right, about like that is where we need to be on these trees. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna knock some of this color out of this fan brush, because there's a good bit of color in it. I'll put it in the thinner. Got paint all over me again. I can't never paint a painting and not get this stuff all over me. Alright, before I highlight them, I think what I'll do now is I will pull the rest of my black over to this pile and the rest of my green. And I'm gonna go to my colors here, and I'm gonna grab a little bit of Van Dyke Brown. I'm going to put that Van Dyke Brown out, and I'll put a little bit more over here by itself, because I'm going to need it. Well, I'll tell you what, we'll go ahead and use that little bit right now before we get too far gone here, because I may forget. Y'all know how I am about forgetting stuff. Alright, I'm going to bring just a little bit of white over here by itself, and I'm going to take a little bit of that Van Dyke Brown and put in it, and kind of marble mix them together. Get me a light brown color going with a little bit of streak in it. Pull it out flat and get that little roll of paint. I'm going to come up here and just touch, barely touch. And then maybe right there. When you're putting these trunks in these evergreens, you don't ever have to put a trunk all the way down it. You just want little indications of trunk because you're going to come back and highlight them anyway. All right, then we can come back up here and give him a little peek where he's good and sharp on the top up here. Just reaching for the sky. All right, then we'll pull that color off. All right, then I'll mix these other colors we brought in together. We got black, midnight black, phthalo green, and now we've added Van Dyke brown. So now we're gonna get us a real good dark color. But by adding that Van Dyke brown to it, it'll kind of dull it some, but at the same token, it'll change the color just enough that we'll be able to tell for our next step here. Remember what I said, you always want a little color change. No matter how subtle it is, as long as it's a little color change. Alright. And then I will, let's see, what brush do we want to do this with? I'm going to do it with the little round brush. I'm going to pick up the little round brush. There it is. And I'm going to come over here to my palette and I'm just going to tap right into this color. Alright, now this is going to be not only how to make trees right here, we're going to do something right here that is going to help our painting. I think what we're going to do is I'm going to come from here and I'm going to come down a little and I'm going to turn and come out this way. Can y'all even see that? I'm going to come up. No, y'all ain't going to be able to see the. All right, I got to move everything now back. Okay, let me get wide on this because you're going to have to see what's happening here. Whoa, we ain't got to be that wide. Just close in on the bottom of that canvas a little bit. Yeah, about right there is fine for now. I'm going to come up here and we're going to come around kind of in a, not really a circle, but kind of a semicircle. So I'm going to come up in this tree with this new color right at the base of the trunk that we just made, and I'm going to come up here and I'm just going to tap on a little bush shape about like that. And then I'm going to come in front of that one with another one about like that, and I'm going to keep working my way out. See how I'm doing that? I'm coming outside of every one of them that we put on up here. And I'm coming over wider and wider. See how I'm doing that? See how it's taking that shape by itself? I'm not making, well, I am making it do that, but I mean, it's doing that because of the way I'm using this brush. Just like that. And then on this last one here, we're going to fill it all the way in at the bottom like so. About like that. That's what we're looking for. Something about like that. Then you can come back up here and close all your bottoms in just to get a little, and see how it ties back in with our land here, which we could have took the knife and actually made some land there. We could have put in a peninsula right there, but I don't really think it was necessary. Alright, now I'm going to put that little brush up for a second. Then I'm going to come up here and I'm going to grab me another fan brush. Well, I tell you what, the one I want is dirty, so I'm going to wash it right quick. It won't take but a second. Fan brushes ain't hard to wash. right here with a paper towel. And I'll come right into the same color. And I'm gonna load it up on both sides. Both sides. And I'm gonna come right here where the land meets the trees. I'm gonna come up here with just a corner, and I want to start right over here, and I want to pull straight across from these. See how I'm doing that? Pull straight across from them, just like that. Straight. Don't pull down. Pull straight out from them. Just straight out, all the way down. You come over and touch them. I mean, you ain't hurting a thing if you touch them. In fact, we're going to end up touching them anyway. But just like that, you want to pull all of these straight. Just like that. Now, after you get them in there, we'll come back and work on the perspective part of it. We want it wider as it comes towards us. When it gets down here, we want it wider. So we'll bring this over, and we'll make this side, this end a little wider. And then as it's going up, we want to get a little more narrow as we go in. And just remember, keep it straight. You have to keep it straight. That's real important right here. Let's keep it straight. And if you want to, as wide as you want to make it, that's entirely up to you. But you're just pulling it across for now, is all we're doing. And we got a bend in here, so we want our path to look like it's bending too. And the only way it's going to do that is if we come in here and give it the bend. See, like that. And now it just looks like it's bending this way. Just like that. And just come up here and pull that color out flat all the way up. And it don't matter how wide you are up here yet, because we're going to bring some more stuff in. We just don't want to get too carried away to where we lose ourselves. Alright, I'm going to put that fan brush to the side for now with all that brown on it. And I'm going to pick my little brush up again, my little round one. And I'm going to come right back into my same color. Now I want to come up here on my path, right here. And I want to start creating some bushes back here. And see how my path is getting narrow back there? Can you see that? I don't know. Well, you'll both see it when we start highlighting. Alright, then when you come down with your bushes, just bring it over the same way we did down here. Like come straight down the path and then come in a little bit further. Come straight down the path and then come in a little bit further. Just like that, all the way down. That's all you got to do. And when we get done here, we're gonna have us a path. And then we can come over here and fill this in. Just fill this whole side in now. Just like so. Just like that. That's what we're looking for. All right, now, over here, okay, we have an Amber Alert in Alabama. I've never seen one say this. It says for more information, click. And it's giving you a website to click on. I don't know if I want to do that or not. Alright, over here, let's do us oh boy. I bet y'all screaming at me again. We got evergreens over here. Alright, I'm going to come right here into this cloud. Just a little bit. And I'm just going to go to tapping on some shape. And I want to leave this, I want to leave it kind of open. I don't want it so closed up you can't see sky through it. So I'm kind of tapping with the bottom of the brush a little bit. And I'm taking it off the canvas and bringing it back in just a little. Just like so. And I want to bring it over these little trees we just made. Right here. Just like so. Just a little bit. And then right here at the bottom, I kind of want to get to the bottom of these shadows right here. Not like that. And I want to bring in just a little peninsula right there. That's about all I'm looking for. About like that. And then I want to come back up here, and I want this to have some little bush shapes out here. I don't want it to be flat looking, about like so. That's all we need. Make sure it's kind of straight. All right. I think that looks pretty good. So I'm gonna lay this round brush down for a second, and I'm gonna go over here and I'm gonna pick up my scrap liner brush, and I'm gonna dip it in the thinner, and I'm gonna go in the same color that we just used to make the trees with, and all these bushes. And it's that brown color with the midnight black and green in it, phthalo green. And we'll come right here, and I want to just come up the tree like so, and just kind of pull in some limbs here and there. Now I'm gonna do these a little better than I normally do, because I'm really hoping that some of these kind of shine through, and I don't want to lose all of them. And I know that from past experience, you're gonna lose some of them. There's just no way around it. I'm going to bring this one all the way off the canvas, about like so. Alright, and then I will make this one up top just a little bit more seam. And we'll Stop the trunk right there, because we're going to have a bush right there. All right, so in my opinion, that would be, well, we ain't done yet. Before we head out, we'll go ahead and do this right quick. We're gonna come right in here just like we did up here. And we'll come and, now the difference is here, when we start here, we got to pull down just a little bit. And then a little bit more. And then a little bit more. And then a little bit more. Because it's at an angle. So we want to bring that angle down while we building our reflections here. Just like so. And then we'll lay that over to the side. And I'll come back in here, grab a little more of that brown, Van Dyke brown color. And we'll come over here and pull us a bank. And we want to pull this bank to the center of our paint. But now while you're pulling this bank, just remember, you want it to be at an angle down through here. So we're going to pull down a little bit further at the back than we do at the front. Just like so. Because out here at the end, you're basically just tapping. Is about all you're doing. And then you can come out in the water a little bit, you know. We'll turn that into rocks if we have to. And we'll pick up just a little bit more. And we'll bring it up here into the top up here. About like so. Yeah, about like that. Alright, then we'll come in here and grab that little white and that little brown we had made up earlier. And we'll even bring a little of that gray color in here now that we had left over earlier. That little bit of blue will kind of look good over here in this. We'll grab us a little roll. Let me move all this stuff out of my way. And just like on a mountain, we just want our color to break as it comes down, just real lightly. Pull it down on your dark color over here, and just let it work its magic. Just let it pull off what it wants. Just bring it right down into the water, just like so. That's all you got to do. And we want a bank over here that just looks all rocky and different. Just like that. That's all we're looking for. Not like so. I'll tell you what, we'll go ahead and give him a little bit more right in here. Just a little bit. Yeah, I like that better. Put a little bit highlight right there on that. All right, now we don't want a real solid white color in here to do our, well, before we get to that step, we got to come back up here now and pull these colors out. Reflect some of that rock down in the water. Just a little. It ain't got to be much. Then we'll, same way with the reflections, we'll just pull across here real light like. Just real light. Just about like that. And then after we highlight that tree, we'll put that color down in here. We'll work on that as we go along. Alright, so I'm going to take just a little bit of this color. I mean just enough to stain this white. I don't want much at all, because I just want to stain the white. And I want to come up here to give myself my water line. I want my water line to be almost that tan color, so it's not real bright. Because back in here behind this little peninsula, it's probably losing some light back here. And I would assume that by losing light and being up against that muddy bank, that water's gonna have a little color to it. So now we just come up here and pull it in across here, and then pull it down and make it look like that bank's just going around in a little circle right there. In and out, right there. Just like so. Maybe at just a little bit. Maybe just a little bit more right here. So you can see that bank do it. Like that. Just like that. And then we can come out here and clean that up a little. We clean our knife. Then we can go back and get us a little bit more white. Pull it out flat. I always pull you, when you're working with that knife, you want little flat rows of little flat areas of paint. You don't ever want big globs on your knife. Because if you got a big glob on that knife, that's what you're going to end up with when you stick it to the palette or to the canvas. A big glob. Alright. Now I will say this video for tonight is complete. We came in and we may fix that tree right there a little. But I kind of like it raggedy, so I might not fool with it. But we came in and we made us some trees. We put trunks in some of the pines. We made us a tree over there. Made us another little peninsula. We got a path. And then tomorrow night we'll come in and highlight everything. And it'll finish it all up. And it'll just tie everything together. And it'll be a complete painting. Just like that. I mean, it's just that simple. We'll finish her up. But I want to say thank y'all for joining me tonight. Hope y'all enjoyed it. It probably wouldn't have took this long had I not come up with the idea of doing a path. But I think it's going to look good when we get finished. Alrighty. Good. Yeah, I'm going to say it's a good, I don't know. I'll think on this tree. And if we decide to fix it, I won't fix it until y'all watch me fix it. Maybe do a little more to this tree over here. Maybe put a little more top on it. I'll tell you what. I won't do that without y'all seeing it. So I'll go ahead and do that. I'm just going to add a little color to the top. That's all I'm going to do. Just make it a little taller. Just like so. Alright. Again, I want to thank y'all for joining me tonight. And tomorrow night, like I said, our next video we do will be us coming in, or me coming in, highlighting everything and tying everything together and calling it a complete painting, putting a mark on it and getting it ready for a frame and a wall. Thank y'all so much for joining me, guys. I love all of you. God loves you more. Y'all have a blessed night.